Good morning and welcome you all. My name is Pablo Correa. I'm the president of InBest Chile, and it's my tremendous pleasure and honor to welcome all to this Chile Day in London. Let me start by welcoming you and greeting those with us today. Please welcome Ms. Rosana Costa, Governor of the Central Bank of Chile, Mr. Mario Marcel, Minister of Finance of Chile, Mr. Andrew Griffith, Economic Secretary to the Treasury, Her Excellency Susana Herrera, Ambassador of Chile to the United Kingdom, Her Excellency Louise de Sousa, British Ambassador to Chile, distinguished Congressman of Chile, Ricardo Lagos Weber, Kenneth Pugh, Yael Jomans, Jaime Naranjo, Eduardo Durán, Osvaldo Macías, Superintendente de Pensiones, José Miguel Benaventes, Corfo Executive Vice President, Jessica López, Chairman of Banco Estado, Juan Marotta, HSBC Head of Wholesale Banking in Latin America, dear board members of InBest, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Again, let me welcome you all. It's my pleasure to open this 2022 Chile Day in the City of London. I would like to especially thank our collaborators in making this event possible: the Chilean Ministry of Finance, the British Embassy in Santiago, Corfo, the Chilean Embassy in the UK, and also our sponsors, Amundi, Antofagasta Mineral, BCI, BlackRock, Compass, Credit Corp, DCB, Drake Enterprises, La Araucana, La Reinvial, Moneda, Picton, Provida, Schroeder's, Scotiabank, Southern Cross, SQM, Tech, Universidad Andrés Bello, WOM, and especially our main sponsor, HSBC, for their continued support over the last years. Today we met after 3 years in which we have lived so many shocks in so many aspects, as nations, government, enterprises, families, but above all, as human beings, that the times before the COVID pandemic seems like ages ago. We got used to living under an atmosphere of uncertainty, totally new for a whole generation. However, I have no doubt that beside all the pain, which were many, we learned a lot and we remember the importance of simple facts that so many times we have taken for granted. For instance, the possibility of traveling, even with bad weather, or just meeting in a room like this, face-to-face, and discuss about or ponder the development of our nations and the role of our capital markets. We have also experienced a lot of changes in our daily lives in these years. Just think about how now we get our restaurant menus from a QR code, and it's the most normal thing. Now, behind these trivial anecdotes, both the real economy and the financial markets are suffering major global transformations whose results are still unclear. The global supply chains are changing, and globalization might have new meanings in the near future. The race to achieve a lower carbon global economy seems to be still in slow motion by the time energy markets around the globe are tightened and responding to short-term shocks. Yet, only yesterday, we were amazed as some US scientists boost clean power hopes with fusion reaction for the first time. Industry 4.0 continue to advance at a pace that accelerates by the minute. AI, data analytics, and quantum computer for sure will integrate more and more in our daily business, public and private decisions. In such a challenging environment, it is only human to look for some degree of certitude and assurance, as the one we find among friends. And that is what it's beginning today, a gathering between two nations, the UK, and Chile, which have been friends for centuries. In just 2 days from now, we will celebrate the birth of Lord Thomas Cochrane, born in Lancashire near the Clyde, and one of the founders of the Chilean Navy. Also, it's a meeting of many friends that have come to be part of the Chile Day. During these days, we shall talk about the transformations and challenges mentioned. We will not only talk about the pains or consequences of the past, but about the shared opportunities of the future. For instance, we will talk about the role of women leading innovation in capital markets, or about how proper corporate governance and the commitment of both public and private sector to integrate ESG considerations could be a driver for social progress. We will analyze the role of financial markets in facilitating a road towards low-carbon economy, but also in financing an always increasing demand for new infrastructure and urban transformation, or the challenges on cybersecurity, or how to address the new role of the fintech industry and the financing of venture capital and innovation as a driver of these challenges. We will also take a pause to dialogue on the reforms that Chile is facing. It is not a surprise that as a nation becomes richer, demands for social services increases and impose the need for higher fiscal revenues, whether those services are provided by the state or by the private sector with public contribution. Chile is in that special moment. Still, it seems that things have never been easy for us. We will face this need at the same time where investment needs a boost. Also, since 1990, we have done 14 or more tax reforms, while the ratio of tax revenues over GDP has changing only marginally. So, how can we increase our fiscal revenues on a sustainable way, building a roadmap that includes everybody, considering at the same time the most efficient use of these resources? That's another topic we shall talk about today. Finally, we all know that on September the 4th, Chileans massively rejected the proposed new constitution text. Does this mean that the process has ended? Beyond the discussion at the political level, we shall discuss about where were the dreams, the claims, the expectations that were behind the idea of the new constitution. We hope to meet in these days all of your expectations. I sincerely hope that this will be very energizing and productive days, and that by the end of Chile Day, you will have been enriched by the ideas, thoughts, and visions from all of us. That you will have found new opportunities, new friends, and also new questions. Most importantly, I hope that Chile Day will continue for most of you further on these days. That is the goal of InBest, to build bridges, to adapt value, to create new ideas and friendships, and of course, in the process, to continue developing our capital markets, since we are totally convinced that they play a fundamental and irreplaceable role in developing our economies and thus enhancing the well-being of all. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Mr. Juan Marotta, the HSBC Head of Wholesale Banking in Latin America, who will also deliver some words of welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Pablo, and good morning, everyone. A warm welcome into a cold morning in London. My name is Juan Marotta. I'm the CEO of HSBC for South America and Head of Wholesale Banking for Latin America. And it is an honor and pleasure for us to act once again as the lead sponsor of this prestigious event in London, a tradition of more than a decade that we value greatly. I would like to thank you, Mr. Minister of Finance and InBest, for this fantastic opportunity. We are very pleased to be in the company of the Right and Honorable Mr. Andrew Griffith, Economy Secretary to the Treasury, Her Excellency Mrs. Louise de Sousa, His Majesty's Ambassador to Chile, Her Excellency Mrs. Susana Herrera Quesada, Ambassador of Chile to the United Kingdom, Mr. Mario Marcel, Minister of Finance of Chile, and Mrs. Rosana Costa, Governor of the Central Bank of Chile. To all of you who are with us in London physically, and also to those who connected via the online event platform, welcome to the Chile Day London 2022. Latin America is an important and strategic part of the HSBC banking franchise, and we are proud to be the preferred financial partner of many corporates and sovereigns across the region. In every market where we operate, we use our expertise and capabilities to open up a world of opportunities to our clients. This is particularly true for Chile, a stable and highly connected economy where we have operated very successfully since 1981. We are indeed very proud to have been a partner of the Republic of Chile, local corporates, and multinational corporations over many years, providing unique solutions to support their investments and day-to-day operations in Chile and abroad. 2022 has been a year of many challenges for business leaders and policymakers globally, including in Latin America. And the outlook for 2023 is uncertain, with many multiple unfolding issues coming at the same time. The cost of living is rising sharply in most of the regions. Financial conditions are tightening as a result of inflation. COVID-19 remains a threat. Russia's invasion to Ukraine has triggered a global energy crisis. This unprecedented scenario calls for decisive monetary and fiscal policies, as well as thoughtful structural reforms to restore price stability and long-term growth. During the discussions and panels of this event, we will touch on all these important topics. We will talk about the outlook of the Chilean economy, the constitutional and tax reforms, but also innovation in capital markets and infrastructure financing, governance and stability as drivers of social progress, and the development of a low-carbon economy. We look forward to insightful and lively presentations, panels, and discussions during the next couple of days. And we remain convinced that Chile is well placed to emerge from this difficult environment as an attractive economy to invest in and a regional champion of the transition to a net zero. On that note, I will pass on the word to Francisco Guzman from InBest. Thank you.
Thank you, Juan. Thank you for your words. We're certainly facing many challenges together, and the support of HSBC has been very valuable in that process. So thank you for that. Now, I am pleased and honored to present His Majesty's Ambassador to Chile, Her Excellency Mrs. Louise de Sousa. Her priorities have focused on UK-Chile cooperation to respond to the COVID-19 crisis through a clean and resilient economy, promoting meaningful action and strong cooperation to tackle climate change and have renewable energies. The Ambassador has further strengthened trade and priority between Chile and the UK, and we're certain that there is a lot of work to do still through our trade agreement, other plurilateral and multilateral engagement. So please, let me give her a warm welcome.
Good morning, everyone, and it is wonderful to see such a big room with so many people in it. I arrived in Chile in March 2021. In my very first week, we hosted a virtual visit of the Lord Mayor. So I can tell you that the financial services industry, capital markets, and all the work that the people in this room do to enable economic growth and innovation has been at the centre of my work literally since week one. I'm really delighted to be able to welcome back to London His Excellency Mario Marcel as Minister of Finance this year, and Her Excellency Rosana Costa, the Governor of the Central Bank, and all of the senior officials and luminaries in this room with whom we have worked so closely through some difficult times coming out of the pandemic, including online activities, a much more modest Chile Day last year under still conditions of huge uncertainty. So I feel that we have come a long way. And I think I would mark progress in particular by a real-life, in-person visit of the Lord Mayor to Santiago in May of this year. So the rhythm has been kept up. All of those priorities around a resilient, clean growth and supporting the innovation that we need for our economy in the future remains absolutely at the centre of the work that we do between our two countries. I'm delighted that since the early conversations earlier this year with Pablo and the team from InBest, we have seen such an interesting set of sessions put together for this year's Chile Day. So here we are. I'd like to thank all of the organisers and the sponsors of the event, and it is my absolute honour to also introduce to you now the Right Honourable Andrew Griffith MP, who's the Economic Secretary to the Treasury, to offer us some opening remarks in an in-person demonstration of the strength and warmth of this bilateral relationship. Minister.
Well, thank you very much indeed, Your Excellencies, friends and colleagues. It's a pleasure to be here, and thank you to InBest and everybody involved, all the sponsors involved in the brilliant Chile Day, and of course to Minister Marcel for his visit to London. And I'm delighted to speak at what is now the 11th edition of Chile Day, a nice, fulsome, in-person physical event, and how wonderful that is again. It's a key fixture in our calendar at the Treasury, and I'd like to again thank the government of Chile for all of their collaboration. This year's event marks a major milestone in our bilateral financial services relationship. We're going to cap the year with our first Memorandum of Understanding between the UK and Chile in financial services, consolidating all of our existing cooperation and reaffirming our commitment to future collaboration, something that I, as Economic Secretary, are very keen on doing. We have a great relationship, and as the UK itself forges its own path outside the European Union, it's our core belief in the value of the widest possible international cooperation that's going to guide our economic relationships. As we heard from the Ambassador and from Pablo, this is a time when all advanced economies need to work together against the shared challenges we face. And so we're very excited by the prospect of a strong financial services partnership with Chile, a nation with progressive views, leadership in sustainable finance, a vibrant fintech industry, and a forward-looking, growing financial sector, as well as all the brilliant companies represented on the sponsorship roster and all of you in this room. A nation with many strengths, priorities, and opportunities that are very closely aligned to our own. Take green finance, a long priority for each of our two countries. I know that the Chilean government is a regional leader on climate finance, and I hope our nations can continue to cooperate on the climate finance agenda. We see the evidence of this collaboration in our capital markets. Since 2019, Chile has raised over £21 billion, $25.8 billion, equivalent in green, social, sustainable bonds right here on the London Stock Exchange's sustainable bond market. That includes the landmark issuance in March of this year of the world's first sovereign sustainable linked bond, raising a total of $2 billion on the London Stock Exchange, as a milestone that received a very high level of interest. Our government is also proud to have hosted a delegation led by the Ministry of Finance in September, engaging in discussions on sustainable finance and natural capital. And we hope the experience of our own Natural Capital Committee can help learn from Chile and drive forward that important work on the value of nature, putting capital market values on nature. We believe that an understanding and a respect for the world's natural resources, whether they're fossil fuels or green spaces, needs to be integrated into our financial systems rather than being distinct and alien from them. No one said that that's easy, but it's a challenge that our two countries share and we can lead together on. On the side of innovation, I'd like to congratulate our colleagues on the approval of their FinTech bill, which will become law in the next few weeks, where Chile regulators will be implementing open finance standards. Chile's FinTech market is the second largest in Latin America and grew by 60% between 2019 and 2021, a really fast rate of growth some of our economies can only dream of. And a large majority of those companies, over 70%, are trying to expand internationally, many of them looking at what they can do here in the UK. I know that Chile's Financial Markets Commission will be holding meetings over the course of Chile Day, and I look forward to seeing the results of their hard work. Tomorrow, we'll be excited to sign the Memorandum of Understanding, largely because of Chile's importance as a strategic partner in financial services. It's the UK's third largest export market in Latin America, and out of a total of around $1 billion of exports, 48% were in services. So that's an area I'm responsible for, and it's very important to us. Financial services, insurance, pensions, and other business services. And amongst many of those businesses are two of our own sponsors and firms, HSBC and Schroders. We recognize Chile's financial markets as open and deep, supported by a sound fiscal and monetary policy framework. I want to thank our colleagues in the Chilean Ministry of Finance for their excellent work and cooperation in developing this MOU and helping us to reach a place that's really an exemplar of the two values that we bring to each other. Finally, let me turn to the UK and reassure you about some of the measures that we're taking to safeguard stability and prosperity. In the autumn statement, our Chancellor outlined 5 areas for growth: digital technology, life sciences, green industries, advanced manufacturing, and financial services. I'm sure they sound very familiar to many people in this room, and Chile has significant sectors in that respect as well. We're introducing new sustainability disclosure requirements, which take a climate-first approach to sustainability reporting, in turn helping people to make informed investment decisions. And we're going to do that in a proportionate and UK-tailored manner while staying in step with international standards. On Friday, the Chancellor and I set out in Edinburgh a package of financial sector reforms to go further in ensuring that we benefit from agile, forward-thinking and proportionate regulation. And that's what we need to do to facilitate growth and the frictionless movement of capital around advanced economies. So to conclude, let me thank you once more, Minister Marcel, and the Chilean delegation for joining us today, and reiterate my pleasure in signing this Memorandum of Understanding at the Treasury with you tomorrow. Chile Day is a real testament, a manifestation of our nation's warm relationships. It gives us a glimpse of how financial services have a vital role to play in creating an even more exciting shared future for both our countries. I look forward to working with you to make that future a reality, and I wish you all a very happy and productive Chile Day here in London. Thank you.